It's time for the Starry Lemon Lime Friday Night Rivals preview show.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Dante Furco. Welcome to the Starry Lemon Lime Friday Night Rivals preview show. And on Thursday night, Taylor Swift was the storyline of the Thursday night football game. But tonight, Taylorville is playing host to Charleston. For the next half hour, we will preview all the big games. And tonight's Friday Night Rivals game of the week between Taylorville and Charleston. Joining us now is Bree Alberry, Adam Anderson, and Paul Wobble. They will bring you all the sights and sounds from tonight's game.
So like you said, Dante, game of the week is Charleston at Taylorville. Let's kind of preview this game. What are we expecting from both of these teams tonight?
Well, we're in our rivals era, I guess, if you want to stick with the Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Look at you.
It's going to be a hard-hitting matchup. Both these teams are very physical up front. They want to establish a run game first and foremost, so whoever can do that at their pace and wear the other team out, I think, is going to come up victorious tonight.
Yeah, and if there's pressure on anybody, it might be Taylorville, might be a little bit self-imposed. They want to get that fifth win, so they're playoff eligible. Haven't been in the playoffs since 2019, so this will be a big step for them. And Coach Jeb Odom talked earlier this week about, it was by design. They had a lot of sophomores last year. Now a lot of them, of course, are juniors. They have a lot of experience. They're getting better each week. This will be a tough game, though.
So let's kind of dive a little bit deeper into the Tornadoes. What have you seen from them through 7 games?
Really, again, it all starts with Baron Odom, Jeb's son, who is the quarterback for the Taylorville Tornadoes. He is a dual threat guy. Coach Odom talked earlier this week. He needs to get him more involved in the run game for them to be more successful. I see that as something they probably go to early tonight to see what they can get going. But Finn Neiman is a guy we've talked about a few times on Friday Night Rivals. Again, that junior class, which Barron is in, is the class that has played a lot of varsity football already. So I think they're going to rely on those kids to really propel them in a big game like tonight.
And Jeb Odom talked about the running backs. It's been kind of by committee. They got Thomas Gettings, Clark Ware, and Finn Neiman. And they keep, they stay fresh. They rotate in and out, and hopefully keeps, the team, opposition off balance. So they can throw. They don't throw as much, but they can throw. Taylorville can.
And sticking with the Tornadoes of Taylorville, I stopped by practice earlier in the week and asked the head coach how he thinks his team has looked through 7 weeks of the regular season.
It's been a roller coaster for sure. We look at it in 3 segments, the first 3 games, the next 3, the last 3. The first 3 games we were able to get some good victories out of that and then kind of hit the meat of our schedule and with Mahomet and Effingham and Mount Zion, and now we're in the back stretch of our season. So we're hoping that we're evenly matched with some of these squads, and if we play good football, we'll get some victories.
Yeah, we touched on Taylorville. Let's move over to the away team in Charleston. Charleston off to a 5-2 start to the season, like we talked a little bit earlier. Their only losses coming against Mount Zion and Mahomet Seymour. They're 2 of those teams at the top of the Apollo Conference. Charleston right below them in the 3 spot. They're looking to solidify a playoff spot tonight, but what can we expect from the Trojans of Charleston tonight in this Friday Night Rivals game of the week?
Again, when you talked to Coach Harsley earlier this week, he really said we're really trying to stay focused. We know how important this game is because they do have 5 wins, so I guess you can take a little bit of the monkey off their back. But with a win tonight and a win next week, you're now maybe looking at a home game and definitely a better seed in the playoffs, which means a better draw. So he knows how important this game is. He knows how tough it is to come in here and play at Taylorville.
And Coach Halsey talked about their quarterback this year, Luke Bonsetter, solid, intelligent, throws the ball well. And he talked about, Coach Halsey did, about how unselfish their players are. Brett Sporer was the quarterback. He's playing fullback, doing a great job. He said this team is close. They're a tight-knit group. They play hard. They're hard-nosed. And their quarterback is good. And they just, they play wherever they have to play and do what they have to do.
Yeah, and this game, just continuing to talk about how important it is, playoff implications. The whole point of the season is to get to the playoffs and to compete for a state championship. And, this team hasn't been there since 2012. They're 1 win away from officially clinching that spot in the postseason. They will hit that 6 win mark with a win. They know the importance of getting this win and getting it done tonight.
It's huge. That's the goal we set out when I took this job and met with these kids last December. We want to get ourselves in the postseason. It's been too long. 2012 was the last time Charleston Trojans heard their name announced on selection Saturday. We want to get ourselves there, get in, and these kids need to experience it. This community needs to experience it again, as well as our school.
So now transitioning back over to the home team of Taylorville, who from Taylorville should fans be keeping an eye on in tonight's matchup?
You know, I'm going to go with a kind of maybe an out-of-the-box one. The linebacking core of the Tornadoes, I think, is going to have to play very well here tonight. Liam Pyatt, a junior, started last year as a sophomore and had a really good year. I do think he needs to play well just because the running game at Charleston is going to come right at those guys. They're going to be the difference maker if they're going to win tonight.
I agree with you 100%. Coach Jeb Odom talked about that. He talked about Waylon Wolf. And junior Cash Foraker has an outside chance to break the Taylorville High School single season tackles record. He needs 26, 13 tonight, 13 next week. He can do it. But Taylorville's linebacker core is one of their strengths, Jeb Odom said, and they are solid.
And we didn't talk about that before.
No, we did
here,
not.
So that's pretty funny. So.
That's perfect. You bring that up. Cash is a very impactful player on that defense. I mean,
he's all over the field.
I've heard nothing but great things about him. I mean, if they want to stop that run game tonight, he needs to be right in the mix, which I'm going to assume he is. He's going to be getting right to that running back.
When you watch their film, he kind of jumps out at you because he is, wherever the ball is, he is near there or right next to it. So he does a great job.
And sticking with the home team of Taylorville, I stopped by the Tornadoes practice on Tuesday ahead of tonight's game. And here's what one of their players had to say about seeing some improvement from last season to this season.
We're a lot better than we were last year. A lot of our guys were first-year varsity starters, and so they have that 1 year under the belt. So we're hoping to be a much better game this year. We're looking forward to it. Our quarterback has grown a lot. You know, last year was his first year, and just having that, like I said, that 1 year of experience under his belt has really helped a lot. And then I'd like to say our line's a lot better. Because last year, a lot of them were first-year starters, and most of them are juniors now. So we all have experience, and then the defense has obviously improved a lot more this year. So.
Yeah, we talked about some of those impactful players for Taylorville. Even mentioned some of the Charleston guys earlier in the show. Talk to me about who can we keep an eye out on for, on the away sideline.
For me, it's Landon King. He's the speedster, returns kicks for them, plays receiver. I think he has difference-making speed. Taylorville has to keep an eye on him. Do not let him get loose in the open. It could be a long night.
Yes. And Coach Halsey talked about Taylorville. He said they have a lot of fight in them. And, there's a big difference between finishing the season with 6 wins as opposed to 5 wins. So it's really important. Charleston really wants to get that win and keep the momentum going.
Listen, and we talked about the run game so much, but 2 guys I'm kind of keeping an eye out on tonight. Luke Nelson, wide receiver, as well as senior, as well as Aiden Archibald, a tight end. Those 2, and also playing on the defensive side of the ball. But if they decide to, shake things up and go with pass game a little bit, I can see those 2 guys having an impact on that offense. 2 leaders of this group. It was great talking to them yesterday about all that.
And it looks like the weather is going to cooperate tonight, so we should have a pretty dry-ish football game. So that definitely changes game plans up.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned we talked about the run game, how it's important, dominant factor for Charleston, this team so far this season. While the players understand it has a chance to carry them into postseason play.
Well, our run game's really strong, and then we pass when we need to, and we move the ball real well on offense.
Our strengths, we don't have much weaknesses, but we ran the ball really well. Our defense have stuck them at the line, kept the run game under control. Made teams pass the ball. It's been good.
We will be right back here on the Starry Lemon Lime Friday Night Rivals preview show. But before we go to break, we're going to send it to Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke for a quick look at tonight's weather.
It has certainly been a very soggy Friday. All day long, we've been tracking some scattered showers and a few rumbles of thunder sweeping across the state. The brunt of the heavier rains have now shifted to our east, but we're not in the clear just yet. There's a secondary cold front that's going to be plowing through the area later tonight, and that means still the possibility for some rain. Stick around. We'll check on your football forecast in just a bit.
Welcome back to the Starry Lemon Lime Friday Night Rivals preview show. We are getting closer to kickoff. The weather, not amazing, but not terrible for this week's game. So let's turn it over to Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke for a look at tonight's forecast. Cheryl?
Well, the week definitely ending up on a very soggy, very unsettled note. For a good part of the day, we've been tracking some showers and a few rumbles of thunder. The brunt of the heavier rains have now shifted to our east. However, we're still not totally in the clear just yet. There's a secondary cold front that's poised just to our west, right now slicing across Quincy, but that cold front will continue to plow off towards the east, and that means there could be some redevelopment. A few more scattered showers or a few more thunderstorms could be popping up before the evening is over. And on top of that, too, we're tracking some very gusty winds. Winds at times around 20 miles per hour, but we could see some gusts in excess of 25 miles per hour, and that could be impacting the kicking game and the throwing game for tonight. Bottom line, if you're heading off to the ballpark for tonight, definitely take along the rain gear. You might be seeing a few more scattered showers out there with our temperatures lower 60s for the kickoff, eventually upper 50s to around 60, though, as the game is wrapping up for tonight.
Thank you, Sharon. Now let's get back to our Starry Lemon Lime Friday Night Rivals preview. Game of the week, Taylorville playing host to Charleston. Let's make some predictions for tonight's game. Adam, I'll start with you. How do you see tonight's game panning out?
I don't think I'll give a team.
You'll give a score.
I'll give a score. Let's go. I'm going to go low. I'm going to go 24-20. Low scoring matchup here tonight.
Was that yours?
24-21. Yeah, 24-21.
You'd think we've been doing this a few years together.
Doesn't mean we're going to be right, though, does it?
Do you think it's going to be a little bit of a defensive battle?
I do. I think it's going to be tough. I don't think the weather will be a big factor. At least it doesn't look like it'll be. So I think a hard-nosed game, close game.
Dante, let's get your predictions.
I know you guys didn't give your winner. I'm going to give my winner. I think it's going to be a close game, too. Maybe a one-touchdown game. I'm thinking like 31-24. I really like what Charleston has this year and their run game and everything we've talked about with this team. They are hungry. So is Taylorville. Don't get me wrong. They are hungry to get in the postseason. But Charleston tonight with that chance to make it to the playoffs, I think that's huge. They've talked about it all week. They talked about building a new culture and getting back into their winning ways. But what about you, Brielle?
Thank you for asking. See, you didn't ask me this time. I feel
Well,
like
he's
normally...
going to win. He got there. He beat me to it. So.
She always thanks us.
I'm picking Charleston 27-21. I think it is going to be a very close game. Definitely a defensive battle. And like you said, not raining anymore. Hoping the rain kind of holds off for tonight. So I don't think that'll be much of a factor. But let's check on a few other games across the area. A couple weeks ago, we covered a Glenwood game when they took on SHG. This week, they're going toe-to-toe with Rochester. Paul, what can we expect from this game tonight?
It's going to be a great game. And I want to know, does CW23 have a chopper? If so, at halftime, I'm going to go down to Rochester, not far, check out some of the game, come back. Just kidding, obviously. Rochester, we talked about their offense, and I think I said last week, everybody knows, their defense is unbelievable. 20 interceptions. They have returned several for touchdowns. They are incredible. Their offense is very well balanced, but their defense is good. Chatham Glenwood, Jack Detro has 6 interceptions. He was our Friday Night Rivals Player of the Week when we did the Springfield High game. He has 6 interceptions. It's going to be a defensive. Glenwood's defense is going to have to stop Rochester's offense tonight.
Rochester had Lincoln to minus 15 yards. I'm picking Rochester, and maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know how close it's going to be. I'm thinking like maybe a 35-0 tonight.
Wow.
I just think Rochester's very,
and
very
Lincoln,
good.
a real good Lincoln.
Really
very
good
good
Lincoln.
Lincoln's good.
Lincoln's good, but held him to negative 15 yards. That is crazy. I think Rochester's a real
And
good.
I want to throw in quickly, because I think I've said it any time we've talked about this Rochester team this year. I think they're winning states this year. I think they are that good.
I would be blown away if somebody beats them.
Yeah.
I would be.
A lot has to happen, but,
a lot has to happen
it's
still.
certainly good.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to a Sangamo Conference game. Auburn on the road to take on Olympia. Let's focus on this Auburn team. We had them early on in the Friday Night Rivals season. They fell to Maroa, and they're coached by a young Ryan Gardner. Off to that 5-2 start. What have you seen from the Trojans this year?
They love to throw the football, so I'm sure everybody in Auburn was doing the equivalent of an anti-rain dance to make sure it stops, because a muddy field and wet weather is only going to help Olympia run the football. Kern has the most passing yards in the state of Illinois right now, with a little over 2,000. But I just think if Olympia's quarterback is back and healthy, I think they're going to be too tough to stop for Auburn.
Yeah, I was going to mention Talon Kern too. Over 2,000 yards passing, 21 touchdown passes, incredible. He's really come on strong. Auburn's playing well. Stanford Olympia has to be the best 5-2 team in the state. They play a great schedule. They're good. They're tough to beat at home as well.
So let's over to the east side. Dante, don't think that we forgot about you. Is there a game on that side of the market that you think that people should keep an eye on tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited for, not talked about enough, Paxton Buckley Loda. They are traveling on the road to take on Tolono Unity. This Unity team, they're both at 5-2 this year. They're both looking to solidify a spot in that postseason. I think both of them get there, but obviously one of those teams isn't going to solidify that tonight. Tolono Unity, I think they're a really good team, very well coached. They're a team that I can see making a little bit of a run in the playoffs. I don't think they're a team yet that could win it all, but they're a team that can really, create havoc in the playoffs. Also, off to Paxton Buckley Loda, they're very well coached as well. They have a good senior group of seniors. I remember talking to them a little bit last year, some of those underclassmen, as they were beginning to move up. They got a great group to keep an eye out on as we get close to this playoff. This game could go either way tonight.
Yeah, and you can't ever count against Scott Hamilton at Tolono Unity. He's a Hall of Fame coach for a reason. But Coach Pritchard from PBL, a former Sangamo coach as well, so he's really turned it around there. That'll be a great game to keep an eye on.
And then taking a look at some other games in the area, we have Shelbyville at Clinton tonight, Pleasant Plains at Williamsville, and Sacred Heart Griffin at MacArthur. We are less than 15 minutes away from
I do want to jump in real quick. That Clinton-Shelbyville game is huge. Clinton, I did a story on Clinton yesterday about the brotherhood there. That team's looking to make the playoffs win a conference, for the first time since 1969, when the coach referenced all these references to 1969. Everything happened that year. It's been so long since they've won a conference, they could do it tonight.
SHG is going to have to play well to beat Decatur MacArthur. That's going to be a good game.
Nobody goes over to Decatur and plays very well, so that'll be a big one tonight.
We are less than 15 minutes away from the start of our Friday Night Rivals game of the week here at Taylorville. When we come back, the fifth member of our team, AJ Gers, will join us ahead of tonight's kickoff. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Rivals, Starry Lemon Lime Friday Night Rivals preview show. Joining us now is sideline reporter AJ Gersh. Welcome for a beautiful night of football.
It is a beautiful night. I just took off my hat because, we were under the tent. I was wearing it because it was raining, but it looks like it's clearing up. So apologies for the hat hair, ladies and gentlemen. We're making it through the best we can this evening, but we're excited for an Apollo Conference matchup.
Of course, and bear with us. We might get interrupted in a second by the national anthem, but we're going to play a little game ahead of tonight's game. I like to call over-under. We give a statistical category. You have to choose whether or not that stat goes over or under. We're going to start with Brett Spohr of Charleston, over under 87.5 rushing yards. I said it high this week.
Yeah, Spohr, since making his transition from quarterback to running back this year, has been averaging 100 yards a game. So I have to say over 87.5 yards.
I'm going under tonight. We talked about that linebacker group for Taylorville just a couple minutes ago with Paul and Adam, so I'm going under.
Let's go. Charleston defensive interceptions on Taylorville, over under half interception.
Charleston has 16 interceptions in the season. We're in week 8, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hammering the over on Charleston, over half interception.
I'm going over.
I'm going over too. Baron Odom, over under 175.5 passing yards tonight.
If the Tornadoes are going to win this game, it's going to be through Baron Odom's legs, not arms. So I'm going under 175.
I'm also taking the under on that one.
I wanted those things because I know we missed it last week. Total timeouts used in the first half. I'm going to set it over under 4.5.
I'm going to go way under at this game. I think it's going to be probably 1 to 2 timeouts in the first half. They'll call them all in the second, though, Dante.
All right.
I'm going under with that one as well.
All right, we made some over-under predictions. Let's get your final thoughts on tonight's game.
It's going to be a fantastic game. The Tornadoes, like I said, are going to have to use their legs effectively. Their defense is stingy. Charleston has a really, really talented offense, so it's going to be a very close game, I believe. I'd say it's going to be within a touchdown.
All right, that's what I thought too. Thank you, AJ. We're going to send it up onto the field for today's national anthem.
Of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner.
When we come back here on the Friday Night Rivals preview show, we will take one last look at the weather as well as tonight's game. Stick with us.
Well, welcome back to the Starry Lemon Lime Friday Night Rivals preview show. There's no rain going on right now. The temperatures, it could be worse, but that'll do it here on the Starry Lemon Lime Friday Night Rivals preview show. Make sure to join us at 10:15 tonight on ABC News Channel 20 for all the scores and highlights from across the area, Central Illinois football. I'm Dottie Furco, joined alongside Brielle Berry and AJ Gersh, and enjoy the game. Everybody send up to AJ and Paul in the booth.